What is going on, Miami Dolphins fans? Welcome back to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan, and it is the 14th day of on-field workouts for your Miami Dolphins. This year in training camp, we're going to get to Jevon Holland's big day, the defense's big day again, Jevon's day, which included 2 interceptions today. We're going to get to all the 11 on 11 play-by-play action, but first, let's look at some player availability before today's practice. Byron Jones has been the story all at training camp, still on PUP. Jaylen Waddle, Greg Little, John Lovett, Brennan Scarlett, Raheem Mostert, Tanner Connor, all seen with their jerseys, but no pads, no practice, no action for those guys today, and no Teron Armstead in team drills. It sounded like Jaylen Waddle has been wanting to practice, but the coaching staff shutting him down, being on the safe side. Be surprised to see if we see any action from him on Saturday's game against the Raiders. I'm guessing that they're taking these precautionaries in practice. At the very most, we see him for a drive, probably nothing at all. Sounds like also after yesterday's shaky performance from that offense, Mike McDaniel got into it a little bit with the offense yesterday. Kind of said like, hey, yelling can't be your everyday voice. You don't do that. You use it strategically so that the players know exactly when you really mean that you are showing emotion. You show it strategically. And he had to show it after that performance in Tuesday's practice, that sloppy offensive performance. However, after today, happy with how the team responded. So let's jump into some practice notes from the day because we got the orange jersey update as always. And that was Durham Smythe. I was going to guess it was Brandon Jones after his multiple interceptions the previous day off Tua Tagovailoa. However, Durham Smythe must have made some plays, must have made some blocks that sprung some runs that just simply weren't reported. But if we look at it, some 11 on 11 action here. Tua's first 2 completions, went to Tyreek. First one for 20 yards with room to run. Second one went for 15. That's when Jevon Holland decided, you know what, this is my practice. I am taking over. Jevon Holland gets the interception off of Tua. Tua tried forcing one to Preston Williams. In between defenders, it sounds like Jevon Holland also took this one to the house had it have been a regular game as well. So that was his first interception, but then Tua followed up the interception with a short completion to Bowden, who had plenty of room to run afterwards, took it for a 40-yard touchdown. That was one of 3 Tua touchdowns from today. So we look into Teddy Bridgewater's first drive of the 11 on 11 action from today, included 20-yard completions to both Cedric Wilson and Tyreek Hill. And then when Skyler got his first drive of 11s, included a drop by Preston, a sack from Cameron Good, who was credited by Travis Wingfield with 3 sacks on the day. And that kind of goes back to his performance on Saturday against the Bucs, because he didn't get like that flashy sack or anything, but he was consistent with, I think, 6 tackles. And then he showed what I had talked about with him pre and post draft, that ability to, when the run is going one way, to fly down the line of scrimmage and get that tackle from the back. So Cameron Good has been putting together some good, I'll put the play on words there, some good performances here in a few different situations. And then in Skyler's drive, had a run play tackle for a loss by Ben Still, who's also been making highlight plays each and every practice recently, and closed it out with an intermediate gain to Trent Sherfield. Tua's next drive was red zone work that started at the 20, started out with a 15-yard slant to Tyreek. Next play, Christian Wilkins batted down a ball at the line of scrimmage. And then guess who was back in the mix? The player of the day, Jevon Holland, with the interception on a pass intended for the orange jersey wearer, Durham Smythe. Tua simply didn't see Holland. Holland gets the interception. And we're going to get to more Holland actually as well. It wasn't just the interceptions that stood out today. We got a little bit more on his big day, but some miscellaneous notes where we'll get to that. Elijah Hamilton credited with an interception off a Skylar Thompson throw. Actually, it was pretty much caught by Ethan Carter, and Elijah Hamilton had ripped it away. Gets credit with an interception on that one. Noah Igbenogany credited with a pass breakup over the middle on a pass from Tua to Tyreek. Had Noah not gotten into the way of that, probably would have been the offensive highlight of the day. If he doesn't get the hand in there, Tyreek's catching it. He's going 70. It's 6 on the board. But defensively, Porter Gustin continues to make his case for a spot on this team's final roster. Another sack today, this one on Skylar Thompson. Dude is constantly finding himself by the ball the last week or so in training camp. Then we get back to Jevon Holland. A pass breakup on a deep shot from Tua to Tyreek. And on this play, it wasn't just that it was a pass breakup. It was the fact that he was covering that much field. Every single reporter that was at practice today said that's your highlight play. That is your kind of play that you want to see from him. That is that center field safety mentality where this guy has got it all. He's got a nose for the ball. He's not scared to tackle. He makes big hits, and he shows this incredible range. So I think I don't have to tell you guys this. We're seeing a star in the making with Jevon Holland, and just everything was just put on display today. That's what we're seeing out of Jevon Holland. A couple other notes here as well. Tua had completions during the day on 11s to Sherfield, Chase Edmonds, and Hunter Long. Bridgewater added completions to both Braylon Sanders and Mike Gesicki. And another thing worth noting today, since we haven't heard much recently from that run game, I've even been addressing some questions in the comments about how's the offensive line doing? Where's the run game? We saw some more creases opening up today, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be watching most closely in Saturday's next preseason game to see how the offensive line does, to see if we get a little bit more action from a guy like maybe Teron Armstead, although I wouldn't hold my breath, maybe Connor Williams. See how this offensive line does when it has the more experienced unit, the more unit that we're thinking is the offensive line first team offensive line. That's when we can really judge it. When we see all the new pieces added together with the new coaching staff running with the ones. Until then, you're essentially throwing out an offensive line that's probably kind of worse than what the team was already throwing out towards the end of last year. So very hard to judge, but a step forward in the right direction today with more run creases opening up from the offensive line. The funny thing is, too, our play action, especially on first down, last week against the Bucs, was working phenomenally without a run game. At some point, you're going to have to run the ball successfully in order for that play action to work. So we need to take the necessary steps to get to that point. But guys like Sony Michel, Chase Edmonds, Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, all credited with runs that made it to the second level of the defense in today's practice. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come, and we can see more of that on Saturday. Honestly, that is about it for today. And if I was a betting man, which I am, even though you can't bet on this, I would bet that Jevon Holland is going to be donning that orange practice jersey in Thursday's practice. So along with your comments on today's action and today's recap, let's hear who your guy is for that orange jersey for Thursday's practice. Let me know if it's Jevon Holland, because I think that's going to be the popular answer. But that's what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. Until next time, fins up.